human being. He is a go-between for humans and the gods, linking us to the entities beyond comprehension. As the crawling chaos and cosmic shapeshifter, he has infinite shapes and innumerable forms. He is deliberately deceptive and manipulative, representing the archetype of the trickster. He reminds us of the existence of that which we cannot truly know. Azathoth is the all-powerful creator of existence. He is known as the blind idiot god, who is absolutely mindless and unconscious, but is omnipotent and is the most powerful being of the entire mythos. All of reality is merely a part of his dream, unknowingly created by itself. He is a dreaming monster in whose dream the universe resides. Countless lesser deities play maddening tunes on innumerable drums and flutes to keep Azathoth from awakening, for if he should awaken, all of existence would be no more, and all would once again be Azathoth. He is the embodiment of disorder and cannot be destroyed, as the concept of destruction is merely his dream, and he exists beyond all human concepts. Lovecraft's fictional gods are relegated to the background of his stories. They are never the focal point and rarely the cause of the unfolding of events, but they are always present, which is an important element of cosmic horror. To express the unknown, Lovecraft used mathematical concepts and bizarre landscapes that should not be able to exist. The geometry of the dream place he saw was abnormal, non-Euclidean, and loathsomely redolent of spheres and dimensions apart from ours. Lovecraft's use of abnormal geometries to capitalize on the fear of the unknown is found in many of his stories. He was swallowed up by an angle of masonry which shouldn't have been there, an angle which was acute but behaved as if it were obtuse. One gets the impression that Lovecraft had a great intuitive grasp of what glimpses of the fourth dimension would seem like to us, how the geometry would appear non-Euclidean and all wrong. His descriptions of abominations like Cthulhu fit well with what one would imagine a fourth-dimensional creature might be like in our space, how they seem to have shape that was not made of matter. It is as if an ant who lives in a two-dimensional world sees a human being. It simply cannot process it. Our hand would look like strange bony and fleshy meat with warm pulsing liquid, suddenly appearing and disappearing out of sight. Similarly, Lovecraft's cosmic entities and objects exist in dimensions beyond our own. All the objects, organic and inorganic alike, were totally beyond description or even comprehension. Gilman sometimes compared the inorganic masses to prisms, labyrinths, clusters of cubes and planes, and cyclopean buildings, and the organic things struck him variously as groups of bubbles, octopi, centipedes, living Hindu idols, and intricate arabesques roused in a kind of Ophidian animation. Everything he saw was unspeakably menacing and horrible, and whenever one of the organic entities appeared by its motions to be noticing him, he felt a stark, hideous fright, which generally jolted him awake. Of how the organic entities moved, he could tell no more than of how he moved himself. In time he observed a further mystery, the tendency of certain entities to appear suddenly out of empty space, or to disappear totally with equal suddenness. Lovecraft's world evades any visualization. We can only hint at their description with our limited knowledge, adding to the uncanniness of the unknown. If we were to be tormented by these creatures, we would be powerless to resist. We cannot perceive them unless they choose. Lovecraft explored this preternatural territory through what is known as the Cthulhu mythos, although he did not coin this term himself. This word is supposed to be a completely non-human word, and there's no correct way to pronounce it. However, Lovecraft wrote that the closest pronunciation is Cthulhu. Unlike most horrific creatures, these entities do not seek our destruction, but rather appear as utterly indifferent to humanity, and it is merely by accident that they have a relationship with us. The coincidental alignment makes these gods no better than the remaining cosmic forces, and by ignoring humans, they are actually contributing to the sense of alienation. They stand for symbols of cosmic outsideness, which we can only grasp a tiny fraction. The horror derives from the realization that common human laws, interests, and emotions have no validity or significance in the vast cosmos at large. Consequently, the entities in Lovecraft's world were not evil. They were far beyond human conceptions of morality. They exist in a dark reality for which nothing is impossible and is beyond human access. They represent the essence of externality, as he writes. To achieve the essence of real externality, whether of time or space or dimension, one must forget that such things as organic life, good and evil, love and hate, and all such local attributes of a negligible and temporary race courage. However, Lovecraft talks about several types of entities: elder things, great old ones, deep ones, and outer gods. The true horror is the mere knowledge that these entities exist and have come from the stars long before human civilization. The Elder Things were the first alien species to colonize Earth 1 billion years ago. They created Shoggoths, protoplasmic shape-shifting beings able to reflect all forms and organs, who served as slaves to build vast cities, but rebelled against their masters. The great city ruins remain frozen in Antarctica, and some of these entities can be found as fossils or in frozen hibernation. In At the Mountains of Madness, a group of explorers lead an expedition to Antarctica and are met with the Shoggoths. It was a terrible, indescribable thing, faster than any subway train. A shapeless congeries. Old Ones, on the other hand, are a group of unique, immortal beings that were rulers and gods over Earth, but now reside stagnant yet eternal in various locations around the Earth. These are akin to demigods. Cthulhu is one such entity, the High Priest and the Great Dreamer, who lies in a deep slumber and immemorial lunacy. Cthulhu echoes the word chthonic and immemorial lunacy. Such eldritch contradictions of cannot be seen on the Earth. It is a monster of vaguely anthropoid outline, but with an force and... This gate is guarded by Yog-Sothoth, for whom time and space shares no boundaries. Bidden knowledge, how unknowable, the not representing the from awakening, for if he should awaken, all of existence would be no more, and all would once again be Azathoth. He is the embodiment of disorder, and cannot be destroyed, as the concept of destruction is merely his dream, and he exists beyond all human concepts. Lovecraft's fictional gods are relegated to the background of his stories. They are never the focal point, and rarely the cause of the unfolding of events, but they are always present, which is an important element of cosmic horror. To express the unknown, Lovecraft used mathematical concepts and bizarre landscapes that should not be able to exist. The geometry of the dream place he saw was abnormal, non-Euclidean, and loathsomely redolent of spheres and dimensions apart from ours. Lovecraft's use of abnormal geometries to capitalize on the fear of the unknown is found in many of his stories. He was swallowed up by an angle of masonry which shouldn't have been there, an angle